Et voilà, regardez mes amis, nous avons quelque chose de spécial. Cowboy, regarde Cowboy, regarde mon chien. The ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris. Yeah, I can't wait to get some runs in this and put a review together for you guys. And yeah, you're a good boy too. Good morning, everyone. We are taking the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris out for a spin today, and it's going to be an exciting run. I'm going to put it through its paces. I'm going to take a swipe at a couple of segments not far from where I live. One of them is about a mile long, just a little bit over a mile, 1.04 miles, with a little bit of a downhill trend. And if I'm going to take the CR on that segment, I need to do it in 5:44, which is a 5:28 pace. That's certainly slower than my best all-out mile, but that would be at close to a VO2 max pace for a little over a mile for me. We'll see what the Metaspeed Edge Paris does at close to maximal effort. Okay, I was hoping for a little more light in the sky for filming purposes. I've done a couple miles of warm-up, about 16 minutes, and it's brightening up. It might be brighter by the end of this mile. So yeah, 1.04 miles at hopefully 5:25 pace or faster. I'm still a little bit tired. I kind of just decided last night I was going to take a swipe at this segment, so we'll see what happens. Here we go. Oh my God. I think I got it. If I did it right, I think I got it by 5 or 6 seconds. Oh, awful. I think under 5:20 pace. It's tough because on the sidewalk, the footing wasn't exactly even and level, which you don't notice until you're running all out. So a lot of hiccup steps. Oh. These Metaspeed Edge Paris though, feel pretty flippin' fast. I was going to do another segment, but I'm not going to do that one today because I'm just totally flooded right now. And that other segment would be into the wind, and there's quite a bit of a wind today. So we'll hope I got this one. We'll see when I get back. So after doing a hard mile in these, plus a couple miles of warm up, and I'm almost a mile into the cool down. I have a couple miles to get back to the car. I would say initial thoughts, they feel like the Nike Vaporfly 1 and the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Plus had a baby, and it got kind of the good genes from both sides. We'll know when I do a shoe off, which I hope to do right after this. All right, I've uploaded to Garmin. Garmin says I ran that lap, that 1.07 miles at a 5:17 pace. Now let's go to Strava, because it's what Strava says that matters, right? Got it. Got the CR on the segment. All right, so success. We'll call that success. All right, it is shoe off time, or I guess super shoe off time. This week was Super Tuesday at the polls, so I guess now it's Super Shoes Day. I've got the Metaspeed Edge Paris here, and I'm going to test it against the Nike Vaporfly 3 as kind of a baseline because, you know, a lot of people rave about the Vaporfly 3. Then I'm going to test it against the Metaspeed Edge Plus, its predecessor. Then the Saucony Endorphin Elite, which was my Chicago PR shoe. Then against the Hoka Rocket X2, which was my second choice for Chicago. Also has kind of a similar geometry as the Metaspeed. And then against the AlphFly 3, which I think is, you know, the new top dog. I've only taken it in one race. All right, shoe off time. For this shoe off, since it's the Metaspeed Edge Paris that I'm comparing with everything, we'll keep with the Parisian theme, and I've got the Tricolore Gooder sunglasses, the Bleu, Blanc, Rouge, for the French flag. At least that's what we're going to call it today. Matchup number 1, Metaspeed Edge Paris and Vaporfly 3. You could definitely tell the Edge Paris has more cushion under the forefoot than the Vaporfly. I also think the new Puba compound they're using is softer than Zoom X. Maybe not softer, but bouncier. Whereas the old Flight Foam Turbo was definitely a lot firmer. Next up, Metaspeed Edge Plus versus Metaspeed Edge Paris. All right, I have a true to size ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris versus a 1/2 size up ASICS Metaspeed Edge Plus. Let's go. So putting these two edges side by side, it definitely feels like a big overhaul. The Edge Paris is so much bouncier. The Edge Plus, you feel the road a lot more. Both of them conducive to fast running. There might be people who still prefer the Edge Plus if you don't like the bouncy feel and just want kind of the energy of the return from the road. I think I will be using the Edge Plus more in training and workouts now, and the Edge Paris definitely feels like a race shoe. Oh, that was a pretty fast lap. I'm trying to do these A/B comparisons at something close to marathon pace, marathon effort. Got a little bit of a dip in my route, so it may not be PR pace, but it'll be in the mid 6s, you know, 6:30s, somewhere in there. All right, up next is the Saucony Endorphin Elite versus the Metaspeed Edge Paris. I'm looking forward to this one. Man, look at that contrast. That is awesome. These are great shoes. I love it. Okay, ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris versus Saucony Endorphin Elite. This is tough. Interesting comparison. The Endorphin Elite has a more comfortable upper, in my opinion. The Metaspeed Edge Paris has a bouncier midsole, and that's saying a lot because the Endorphin Elite is pretty bouncy. The Endorphin Elite actually feels, you know, kind of softer and cushier, which is also saying a lot, because most people would think it's pretty firm for a super shoe. I do not. I think it's good for a marathon. Yeah, gonna have to think on this one. Another fast lap. Man. Well, one thing's for sure. I am lucky and privileged to have all these fantastic shoes. So yeah, it's tough to have hard decisions. I mean, it's good to have hard decisions. All right, up next, the ASICS Metaspeed Paris and the Hoka Rocket X2. All right, ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris and Hoka Rocket X2. These shoes will cater to a similar crowd, I think. They have a similarly bouncy flavor of Piba, a similarly aggressive rocker. Hey Matt, how are you? And really racy uppers. The Hoka upper is a little more constrictive, but if you like snug fitting uppers like Vaporfly 1, it's more like that. Whereas the Metaspeed Paris also has a very racy upper, but it's more airy, more like Vaporfly 3, but I think better upper than Vaporfly 3. All right. Oh no, filling up a bucket, getting all my shoes wet. Oh well, it's my fault for leaving my shoes out on the sidewalk. Anyway, that was Hoka Mach X versus Metaspeed Edge Paris. One more, and that is the AlphFly 3. All right, last one, fast one. I know this is the one a lot of you guys have been waiting for. Metaspeed Edge Paris and Nike AlphFly 3. Let's go. Two very different feels for super shoes. The Edge Paris and AlphFly 3. Side by side, the Edge Paris feels more natural than super shoes don't feel natural usually. But the AlphFly 3 feels like it has more launching you forward. I get the impression that a lot of people are going to want the AlphFly 3 over the Edge Paris still. That's a wrap. It's a pretty quick 2.8 miles in just under 18 minutes. So that is yeah, faster than marathon pace on average. Of course, I had some recoveries while I was changing shoes, but these all make you want to go fast. That is for sure. I'll save the rest for the shoe talk. All right, it's a beautiful evening, and daylight savings time has started in the US, so we have this sunlight into the evening, even whether you like daylight savings or not. Done a few runs in the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris, but I'm going to do one more workout in it tomorrow, and it's one of Derek's workouts that his coach gave, just to make sure I've run it through as many paces as I can. And Derek's workout, I will just throw it over here. It's going to be 4x1200 at kind of an LT pace, close to 6-minute pace. Then it's going to be 4x800 at more of a 5:45 pace. 4x400 at 5:15 pace-ish, and then 4x200 at, unspecified fast pace. And we're gonna do the 1200s on the road and the rest of it on the track. So about half of the distance will be on the road, and then the really fast stuff on the track. And I will report back after that. It's 4:55 in the morning. I'm about ready to get started. I'm gonna meet Derek and Anthony on the road. I'm actually a little anxious about this workout, and I don't usually get anxious about workouts, but I think this one's gonna be a little bit harder in real life than it is on paper. So we'll see. I kind of had a dream about this workout last night, and that's very unlike me. So we'll report back how the Edge Paris does. Anthony should be wearing his pair, and I think Derek is gonna have a pair of Sky Paris on. Look at that. 3 by Paris. Starting first rep. Nope. Rep 3, 1200s. Rolling along. All right, that makes 4 by 1200 on the road, all just under 6-minute pace. Now to the track. Rep 2 of the 800s. Last rep of 400s. Doing them in 77 or 78. 200, go. $200's done. Nice. What do you guys think?
Like them, they're fast. Firm.
And you've got the Edge, Paris.
Yeah, and by firm I just mean the plate's pretty stiff, but
it's real stiff. Yeah, how about the Sky, Derek?
We in the way. we in the way.
Thanks, Derek. Thanks, Dave. Dave just gave me a good game. Man, after I was getting all anxious about that workout, it ended up feeling really smooth throughout. I think we were just nailing those paces, and I never really felt like beyond myself. Rolling in the 6-minute, sub 6-minute pace on the road, and then the faster paces on the track. I feel like the Metaspeed Edge Paris have kind of broken in. I've done about 25 or 26 miles in them, maybe a little more when you count the shoe off. And they just feel to roll really well right now. I don't feel like they were unstable like when I first put my foot in them. So yeah, I will get my thoughts together for a shoe talk. Okay friends, it's shoe talk time. This is the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris, as you are well aware, this far into the video, and this shoe is fast. Let's talk about how we got here from here. This is before any of the Metaspeed line came out. This is the ASICS Meta Racer, which is really kind of their first entry into carbon-plated racing shoes. There's not even a super foam in this. I'm pretty sure this is kind of a flight foam variant. There is a carbon plate in there down really low, but this was pretty low to the ground, had good grip, was really more of a stopgap to get to this, which was the ASICS Metaspeed Edge, the original Edge. I did not have the Metaspeed Sky. These are the non-plus versions. I had the Edge because I am a Cadence runner, as I'll get into later. And there was nothing particularly wrong with this shoe. It did fit small. I went true to size and ended up mangling my feet. Very stiff. The Flight Foam Turbo was very stiff. I felt like there needed to be a little bit more underfoot, but it was also very light. This had a use case very similar to the Adidas Takumi Sen, which would come along later. Even the Takumi Sen looks like it's more protective than this. So kind of a fun shoe for short races, short workouts, but I kind of had to bandage my toes to make it work for me. After the Edge after the Edge and the Sky, we had the Edge Plus and the Sky Plus. I have the Sky Plus, but it's not as relevant to this. The Sky Plus, as you may have seen in some of my videos, it does have its own dedicated video, is a great racer, can handle a little bit more than the original Edge could. The Edge Plus still, I would hesitate to take it up to half marathon or past that, because even though it has visibly more Flight Foam Turbo, it's still a pretty stiff super foam. I do like the way that the plate comes down and the Edge Paris continues that, but again, the sizing issues, I sized up a half size in this and it seemed to fit me all right. I was kind of between sizes. It's good to have more foam, but it seems like the midsole was the last real thing to come around, and this PIBA midsole in this Flight Foam Turbo Plus is a lot softer, more resilient, but still very snappy, very much an energy return midsole. And you can tell by the line the deepness of the scoop in the carbon plate down in the forefoot. Whereas the Sky Paris, just like the Edge, just like the Sky Plus, it would kind of stay straight up here, and then you'd see a sharper dip toward the toe. You can also tell because there's less yellow down here, whereas if I were to take Derek's shoe, the Sky Paris, he would have that yellow coming up a little bit more because it would follow that more of a straight line. We'll talk about those comparisons too. So yeah, I had a chance to test this in a shoe off versus a whole lot of other shoes, which I will talk about. I want to talk about the notable absences from that shoe off because I have had people asking about that. I did not bring it against the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3, and I don't have the Pro 4. Don't know if I'm going to get the Pro 4. The Pro 3, very capable, very accessible super shoe. Feels like compared to the Edge Paris and some of its peers, it almost feels like this is like a super workout shoe. Great for racing a marathon. I can do plenty of stuff in it. It just seems a little too soft. Not too soft. It seems like it's not going to be quite as propulsive forward, even though it does have that aggressive speed roll technology. I kind of like the roll on the Edge Paris better. Also absent was the Adidas Adios Pro 3, mainly because the feels were just too different. The Light Strike Pro does get seasoned, it wears in and becomes more pliant the more you run in it, but the foot experience, the bounce experience was just so different from the Edge that the two aren't really comparable. It's really more apples and oranges. So this I would definitely use for marathons, maybe some half marathons, whereas this I think is going to skew towards faster paces, although there might still be some overlap. And then if we're going to talk about shoes that are just too different to really compare in a shoe off, the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 2. I've talked about this shoe, and for me, even though it should be something natural to run in, it is very unnatural. I'm just thinking about it too much. Once I hit it in the sweet spot, I get a lot of bounce, whereas the Edge Paris is kind of just an easy roll forward, very much a go fast, go forward type of shoe, whereas this is a little bit too niche and it's a little bit too novel for me. So nothing against the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro, it's just that for me, it doesn't work as easily as some of these other super shoes that we're going to talk about. I could have compared it with the Adidas Takumi Sen. This is the 8, but the 9 and the 10 I think would be comparable as well, in more of a use case scenario, because this can go fast. 5K, 10K racers, some could take it up to a half marathon. The Edge Plus, the Edge Paris, je suis désolé. The Edge Paris, I think, can do anything that the Takumi Sen 8 or 9 or 10 can do, but it can also do a little bit more. It feels like there's a little bit more bouncy forward, and whereas this is more of a stripped down, halfway between a traditional flat and a super shoe. So yeah, those are the notable absences. You saw the shoe off, so you saw kind of my thoughts versus some of the top end super shoes that I think are out there. Like I said, I think the Edge Paris can be described as if these two got together, and had some nice French wine, enjoyable evening, and 9 months later, boom, out comes the Edge Paris. Because it's got that energetic response that you remember from the original original Vaporfly, but it's got the lineage and the construction and the plate configuration of the Edge Plus, but with a better foam and a slightly different drop. There's a 5mm drop versus 8mm drop. Really, unless you're really looking for you're not going to tell the difference in drop, or I'm not going to. So as you guys can tell, I like this shoe. It goes fast really well, but unlike the Edge Plus, between reps, I don't feel like I'm clomping around, or it doesn't feel tappy, on my recoveries, or if I'm doing something closer to marathon pace. Running marathon and pace in this, I would feel pretty beat up after a long time. In this, I think it could handle it well, even though it kind of wants to go faster. Wheelhouse, I think this would shine at a 1 hour race, something in the 15K to 10 mile race distance. I think it would be great for a half marathon. I would be willing to take it for a 5K, and I might be willing to take it for a marathon, although I think there are some better choices at the marathon. I would still probably reach for either the AlphFly 3 or the Endorphin Elite for the marathon distance. But this is the ASICS that I think could best handle the marathon, and it's also the lightest, and I think it's just plain the fastest. I can also wear this true to size, and it feels, other people who are subscribers have mentioned that have also worn this, it feels racy. Yeah, that's definitely a good way to describe it, is racy, but it doesn't feel cramped. Very airy upper, and there's not a lot of give in it, but as long as you're not rubbing up against it, which I'm not, going true to size, then I think this thing will hold you in place. Now, Edge Paris versus Speed Paris. You guys might know that Derek, who often runs with me, and you saw him on the workout video, he is the quintessential stride runner. If I throw up a graphic here, and this graphic is the our Cadence graphs from the workout we did. We were doing 1200s, 800s, 400s, and 200s. If we take out the 200s, where we're both increased cadence a lot because that was more of an all-out sprint, and then we look at the 1200s, 800s, and 400s, I kind of drew a green line on both graphs. On the top, there's Derek, and his is just straight. He was, for all of the speed intervals, kind of between 185 and 189, 190 steps per minute. Pretty high cadence, but the same cadence, and his stride length increased greatly. I think his stride length increased by up to 30% on some of the faster stuff. Whereas I'm on the bottom, you can tell that as the intervals got faster, my cadence went up. My stride length went up too, but cadence runners, they also increase stride length, but the cadence is really the big change. So you can see the slope in my line. This is intended for cadence runners. I have not tried the Sky Paris, but Derek had very good things to say about the Sky Paris. He did say, with the more abrupt roll-off at the end, he was kind of feeling it a little bit in his soleus, in his calf, which happens on some of the more abruptly sweeping shoes down at the toe. So I think he and Anthony, who are both the same shoe size, they're going to kind of switch and do a run in each to see, if the more early stage rocker in the Edge Paris will work better for him. Because, I don't want to just get pegged as a certain type of runner and you have to run in this shoe. I just tend to get along with what ASICS says I should get along with. So I love this shoe. I'm going to take it for more workouts. I have 2 races coming up this month, 1 half marathon and 1 5 miler. I will almost assuredly take it on the 5 miler. Not sure about the half marathon yet. But this shoe talk is getting kind of long. Hopefully you get a chance to check out the Edge Paris or the Sky Paris. And I'd like you to let me know what you think. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, or share the video, and ding the bell for notifications. Thanks guys for making it this far, and I'll see you on the next run.